Okay, we are going to set up a server in the cloud on DigitalOcean. This should, once we do this, this should work exactly the same, or pretty much the same as the server we set up on Amazon, and it's pretty easy to set up. So the first thing we need to do, DigitalOcean won't generate a RSA, a key pair for you to log in. You're going to have to generate that yourself. So we go to a terminal, or a VS Code terminal, and we're going to do cd ~/.ssh. We're in our SSH directory. Now, in order to generate our own SSH key, there's a program called SSH-keygen. You hit enter, and it wants you to give it a name. I'm going to call this DigitalOcean. Passphrase, if you'd like it to be locked with a password for some extra security. For the demo, we won't do this, but this could be a good idea. It'll ask you for the passphrase again, and then once you hit enter, it says your private key is here and your public key is here. Now, this is some stuff where you can give a unique fingerprint for the key without giving away the private secret. The next thing we have to do, of course, is chmod 400 DigitalOcean, because it's not going to like it if we try to use this key and the permissions are too open on the file. Finally, we're going to do cat DigitalOcean.pub. Now be very sure there's the .pub at the end here. And we're going to use a new thing called a pipe character. I don't know if anyone did Unix pipes, but this is going to send the output of this file through to whatever we do on the other side of the pipe. The pipe is above the backslash. It's shift and the backslash key. So what we're gonna pipe this into on a Mac, it's called pbcopy, and this will basically copy it to the clipboard. It's the same as highlighting the text and doing a Command C. So now we have our public key copied. We're gonna go over to DigitalOcean's interface. We're gonna say new droplet. We'll load for a second. We're gonna select Ubuntu. That should be the default. Standard, and then we can scroll all the way to the left and nope, that's not, it just went back in my browser. Okay, back to create a droplet. Let's start over. Ubuntu, standard. We're gonna go to all the way to the left. There's the $5 per month, the cheapest one. That should be plenty for our projects. You can enable backups if you want. It's $1 a month extra. We need to add block storage. So I think I'll say 10 gigabytes. That's $1 a month. So this will be about $6 a month for this server. Automatically, yeah, this seems fine. ext4, that's a good choice. The data center, I'm going to choose New York Region 1. And for additional options, I'll select private networking in case we want to set up a database on another droplet maybe, or something else. And then I'll also add monitoring, because why not? That probably can't hurt. For authentication, I think this is the default, but you're going to want to select SSH key. And I already tried this before, so I already have a key, but all you're going to see probably is new SSH key down here. So when you say new SSH key, there will be a pop-up, and here's where you're going to do Command V. And this will paste, again, what you copied from the DigitalOcean.pub file. Be sure it was the .pub file, because you don't want to upload your private key here, you want the public key. And the name can be whatever you want, but I'll call it DigitalOcean. And we're going to say add SSH key. And this really is the instructions, the same instructions that we did. Okay. So then you make sure it's selected. It'll probably also be select all. And this is my old one. I don't need that, actually. So I will keep this selected, SSH. Great. How many droplets? 1. Choose a host name. You can leave that default. Tags, we don't need any of these. And why can't we create? I guess the duplicate name, it didn't like that I already created one. So you should see create droplet green here, but I had to change the host name. You can make this whatever you want. I'll call it CIC project server. And then create. Now this will take a second to load. I believe it's working, but it's a little... Okay. So now we can see a progress bar. It's setting up, it's adding the volume, and you can click on this to go to this the detail page. It looks like it's still in progress, but it has an IPv4 address. We can click copy here to copy this. And then from our terminal, we should be able to do SSH-I DigitalOcean, and then there's the user that you're going to log in as is actually root for these DigitalOcean droplets, not Ubuntu at. So it's root at, and then you paste the IP address you're given. It looks like it's still starting up, so it's probably going to take a second before it actually responds on this port. I'll try the command again, probably now. Okay, so it's going to say, well, I don't recognize this server. It's the first time you've logged in. We're going to say yes. And it should take a second, but we are now in our server. And we can do the same commands we did before, sudo apt update. And sudo apt install node.js npm. And then yes, capital Y, and we should be all set. I'm going to let this install, but that's all you need to do to get up and running on DigitalOcean. Cheers.